Welcome, I'm Doris Thews. I'm a running coach, a certified personal trainer, Pilates and yoga instructor, a college athlete, and an experienced marathon runner. Welcome to the recovery stretch presented to you by Jacuzzi. This could be done throughout your training or quite possibly a few days post-event. When you're doing a recovery run, you want to make sure you're doing static stretching. Now, static stretching is appropriate for recovery. It allows the body to flush out any lactic acid, and lactic acid is a byproduct of heat that is generated in the body. It also allows the muscles to heal and repair any microscopic tears from the activity, and frankly, it helps you recover faster. For your recovery stretch, you can do it in or outside a Jacuzzi brand hot tub. We're going to stretch the feet first. So just basically take your leg across. You could be in a chair or seated anywhere. Take your hands and put them on the top of the toes. The toes are going to press into the hands. As they press into the hands, you're going to see a nice long stretch of the plantar fascia. This is a great stretch. It's a static stretch, so you're going to hold it for about probably 60 to 90 seconds, and then simply switch sides. Now it's time to recover the ankle with a nice static stretch. What we're going to do is hold onto a wall or anything that's nearby. Stand on one leg. You're going to lift one leg and flex that foot and hold it for 15 seconds. You're going to laterally rotate it out for 15 seconds, point the toe for 15 seconds, bring it in medially for 15 seconds, and come back to the start position, and then go in the opposite direction. It's going to be about a minute total. Then you'll switch sides so those ankles are nice and recovered. We're going to go into the calves and the tibialis. So what we're going to do is simply find a wall and lean against it. We're going to step back in a split stance. Take the heel towards the floor. That's going to start the stretch of the calf. And then you're going to bend the knee, going deep into the soleus and the gastrocnemius. Now, when you hold that for about 30 to 60 seconds, you're going to switch sides, and again, start with the heel towards the floor, and then bend that knee for a deeper stretch. We're also going to go into the tibialis, which is the opposing muscle group. With this, simply we're going to take our toe, and we're going to take our toe towards the floor, and we're just going to feel a nice lengthening of the tibialis, holding in this position. Kind of the same position, keeping the knee soft. Switching sides again, coming back and taking that foot towards the floor and feeling that stretch in your tibialis. Let's give the quads a little bit of recovery. What you're going to do is take your hand either on a wall or whatever's nearby and reach back and simply grab the foot. You're going to draw the heel towards the glutes, and you're just going to open and lift tall, taking deep breaths in and out, holding it here for about 60 to 90 seconds, depending on how much those quads need to recover. Simply switch legs and you're good to go. We're going to go from the quads to the hamstrings, the opposing muscle group. Again, placing your hand on the side of a wall, you're going to take your leg out, you're going to flex to the foot, you're going to lift tall, draw through the belly and lift tall as we hinge forward, stick the glutes back as well as bend the knee. You're going to feel a nice stretch right here in the hamstring, down from the glute all the way into the knee. Hold it here for about 60 to 90 seconds, and then when you're ready, switch sides. Let's give the hip flexors a little bit of recovery here. It's really great if you have a step nearby, and simply you're going to come forward with one leg. You're going to bend the knee at 90-degree angle. The knee should be right over that ankle. You're going to take the hips and you're going to tuck them under, draw the belly in and up, squeeze the glutes. Hands could actually go onto your hips, or if you really want to give a little bit of a stretch, pull the shoulders up and look up to the sky. Hold this for about 90 seconds. Switch sides by simply coming up, taking the foot on a step, knee over ankle, tucking the tailbone under. Really important to squeeze the glutes to open that hip flexors, and hold this. Good 90 seconds should do it. It's time to recover the adductors. What you're simply going to do is take the feet wider than your shoulders, take one hand onto the thigh, and hang out here. What you're doing is you're lengthening through the adductors, which are also known as the inner thigh. Hold it for about 90 seconds, and then simply switch to the other side and hold that for about 90 seconds. We're going to go into the famous figure 4 glute stretch. To place your hand on a wall, stand on one leg, lift the other leg, take the foot on top of the knee or onto the quad, and you're going to simply sit back. Right here, you're going to be opening up the glutes, a little bit of the hip, but mostly glutes. Hold this for a good 90 seconds. Come on up and switch sides. It's time to take the recovery into the core. So we're going to work the spine in flexion, extension, rotation, and lateral flexion. First thing we're going to do is take our hands as we bend through the knees, Take our hands to the outside of our legs and we're going to arch up. This is flexion of the spine. Draw the belly in and just round through that spine. Feel that lengthening all the way up to the upper thoracic rib cage. Then I'd hold that for about 90 seconds. I'd put my hands onto my thighs and I'd look up into extension. In this position, your tailbone and your eyes are gazing towards the sky for 90 seconds, and then come on up, taking the arms overhead. You're going to rotate the upper thoracic spine, keeping this hips forward, but looking over your shoulder. Just hold it for a good 60 to 90 seconds. The arms come up, switch sides again, really working through those obliques. And then finally, a little bit of lateral flexion, hands overhead. And what I would do is cross the legs to throw in a little hip as well, and just press out like a crescent moon. So right here, we're opening up through the core as well as the hips. Good 90 seconds, and switch sides. That right there will be your recovery for core. Taking it up to the upper body for recovery, first thing we're going to do is interlace our hands and press out and open up through that upper thoracic. Taking deep breaths in, holding this for about 60 to 90 seconds. Then taking the hands onto the head, interlacing the hands, and then opening up through the chest, lifting through the sternum and breathing deep. Again, 60 to 90 seconds. From there, we're going to go right into the head and neck. So finishing off the recovery, what we do is we take our ear, drop it to the other shoulder. We're going to take the opposite arm out. Take the knuckles to the back. Pull the elbows back and look down like you have a shirt pocket. This is going to lengthen out through the traps. From here, you're going to take your chin down to your chest, reach your arm down, roll your ear to the other side, take the opposite arm out, take the knuckle to the back, open up through that elbow and shoulder, and look down again. Strong stretch here through the traps. A pro athlete, a fitness enthusiast, or a weekend warrior can benefit from the rejuvenating power of hydrotherapy. We're going to do all the stretches I just showed you in a Jacuzzi brand hot tub. One thing I love about stretching in a jacuzzi is the hydrotherapy effect. When used properly, hydrotherapy can promote healing and alleviate much of the short-term discomfort and pain from recent muscular skeletal injuries. There's no better way to celebrate your running achievements than a recovery stretch in a hot tub by Jacuzzi. It's time to do our static stretching. Let's start from the feet up. We're going to take our one leg and we're going to cross it over the other. We're going to grab a hold of those toes and we're going to press the ball of the foot into the hand, and the hand is going to go in opposition. What this is going to do is it's going to lengthen the plantar fascia. That lengthening and that static stretch for 60 to 90 seconds is going to be a fantastic recovery for your foot. It's time to go into the ankles. So what we're going to do is we're going to extend out one leg. You can place your hands underneath the hamstrings for support, but really when you're in the hot tub by Jacuzzi, you have the buoyancy factor, so the legs aren't that heavy. What you're going to do is you're going to point that toe and hold it for about 15 seconds. Then you're going to roll it out laterally and hold it for about 15 seconds. Then take it to a pointed position for 15 seconds, and then roll it in medially and back to flexion. Then you're going to go in the direction. Now each time you change the foot, you're going to hold it for about 15 seconds. And then you're going to switch legs. Now it's time to stretch out the calves, the gastroaxilleus, as well as the tibialis, the opposing muscle group. So we're going to simply get on up, and you can either put your hands on the seat of the jacuzzi or possibly the edge of the jacuzzi, depending on your lever length. You're going to step both feet back, kind of like a down dog in yoga. You're going to take your toes or balls of the feet onto the bottom of the jacuzzi and then lengthen through the heels. When your legs are completely straight, you're going to feel a nice long stretch, elongated stretch on the gastroaxilleus. If you bend the knees, you're going to go a little deeper and get a deeper stretch on that gastroc. I would hold that for about 90 seconds. Now the opposing muscle group, the tibialis, is going to be a little different. You're going to extend one foot forward. You're going to take the foot and you're actually going to point it to where the top of the foot and the top of the toes are touching the bottom of the jacuzzi. And you're going to come up. So you're going to think about pointing that toe and lengthening so the tibialis gets a fantastic stretch. You're going to hold that for 90 seconds, and then we're going to switch. Stretching out the quads, you're going to just simply come onto your side in a side lying position. Now you can just slink on into this jacuzzi and reach back and grab the ankle, and what you're going to do is you're going to pull the heel back to the glute and press the hip forward and just let that lengthening happen. What's fantastic is the warmth of the water is going to give that muscle that nice ability to lengthen out and to be warm and to increase its circulation, so you should have a nice long recovery stretch. I would hang out here for a minimum of 90 seconds. From there, you're just going to simply take your foot down and flip it around and do it again. The opposing muscle groups to the quadriceps are the hamstrings. So we're going to extend out one of our legs, flex through that foot. We're going to take the other leg and we're going to bend it. We're going to take the actual foot and bring it in towards the inner thigh or the adductor. We're going to sit very, very tall, and we're just going to hinge from our hip and slowly work our way down. What I would recommend is to keep the foot flexed as well. Inhaling in and exhaling, sinking. Hanging on to this stretch for a good 90 seconds. From there, simply switching sides. And you're going to notice when you look down at your legs, they look like the number 4. So think about that, figure 4, but it's seated. This is hands down my favorite stretch. It's for the hip flexors, and it just gets fantastic when you're in a jacuzzi hot tub because you can really go deep and open up. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one foot, and you're actually going to step onto the seat. The other leg's going to go back. You're going to anchor it against the seat or the wall. Take your hands up to the wall if you wish, and you're going to sink deep. You're going to engage the glutes to let the hip flexors go. To go deeper, you're going to put your hands onto your knees and come tall. If you want to get sassy, arms could come up and reach back. And if you wanted to add rotation, you could rotate in any direction. And then I would switch sides for 90 seconds, and your hips would be very happy. It's time to go into our adductor stretch. Take your legs wider than your shoulders. I like to brace them against the sides of the hot tub. What you're going to do is you're actually going to take it over to the side with a little bit of lateral movement, and you're going to let that adductor open up and lengthen. Hang out here for about 90 seconds. From there, you're going to slowly come up and switch sides and hang out. Time to recover those glutes. We're going to take that leg and flex that foot. We're going to take the other leg and we're going to cross it on top. What I want you to think about is giving that knee a little bit of a hug and then sitting up tall. Instantly, your piriformis is going to say hello. Those are your glutes. So you're going to come on in and hold that knee. And if you want to rock side to side to get a deeper stretch, please do so. And then settle in. You want to hold this for a good 90 seconds. Another option, again, is for a little bit of rotation for the core, if you want to add some of that. Again, 90 seconds should do it. Simply switch legs, crisscross that leg, come up tall, give it a hug, rock back and forth and find that sweet spot, and then rotate looking over your shoulder. It's time to focus on the core. What we're going to do is take our hands back onto the seat. We're going to take our legs out and we're going to tuck our tailbone under and we're going to round from our spine. We're going to draw our knees in. And what we're doing here is we're rounding through the spine like a C. We're taking the spine from here to here into that C curve. Draw that belly in and feel that nice flexion of that spine. You can even reach out to your legs and give your legs a little squeeze. This nice rounded ball position gives you a nice flexion position. Hold it for about 90 seconds. Now the opposite of that would be extension. Let's extend out the legs and flip over, coming into that almost plank position that we did before, but this time we're going to pop up. This is like an up dog in yoga or a sphinx or a cobra. You're going to take your hands down towards the actual step. Toes and top of the feet are touching the bottom of the jacuzzi. And you're going to draw your belly in and you're going to lift and you're going to look up to the sky. In terms of rotation, I've showed you that earlier, but you can always do a little rotational stretch and hold here. Do a rotational stretch and hold here. And as far as lateral goes, you can just sink deep, deep, shimmy on in, and give yourself a little bit of a lateral flexion by taking your arm over and stretching, holding it, taking the hand down, and again taking over and holding it. And I would recommend 60 to 90 seconds on each one of those elements for the core. Flexion, extension, rotation, lateral flexion. Let's take the static recovery into the upper back and the chest. So what you're going to do is you're going to shimmy on down into the jacuzzi. What I like to do is kind of place my feet either in the center of the jacuzzi or against the opposing wall. I'm going to interlace my hands, I'm going to press out, and I'm going to open. While I'm forcefully pushing forward, my scapulas are protracting and my chest is contracting. So I'm opening up through the rhomboids and through the lats and through the traps. I'm releasing any stress or tension that I may have picked up during my activity. Holding this for 90 seconds. And then I'm going to really shimmy down, and I'm going to take my feet definitely across the way, whether it's to the chair or to the wall, depending on your levers. Taking the hands behind my head as they interlace, and I'm actually going to open up my chest, pulling the elbows back. So the hands are actually on the side of the head, and I'm opening through the elbows, opening up through the chest, breathing through the sternum, feeling that breath in the front of the rib cage. Hold that for about 90 seconds, and that should be a great way for your upper body to recover. Let's finally finish with a nice little neck and head stretch. What you're going to do is you're going to actually kind of shimmy down into the jacuzzi, and you're going to take your head, you take your ear, and you're just going to drop it to kind of one side. So you're going to take the ear kind of in alignment with the bony part of the shoulder. This opposite hand is going to come across. It's going to come behind the back, and then you're going to pull the elbow back, and then drop down and look into your shoulder. So as you're looking down at your shoulder and your elbow's pulling back, you're going to sink a little deeper, and you're going to feel those traps just release and melt. Holding this for a good 90 seconds is a great idea. Now that you have information on recovery stretching and hydrotherapy, please visit jacuzzisport.com. You can get more information on warm-up stretching and how to stretch your wallet. with the Jacuzzi brand hot tub. And as Jacuzzi says, train hard, recover faster.